Hi, in this fourth tutorial of the Xmgrace tutorials, I will be showing you how to make different types of bar plots. So this tutorial has part 1 and part 2. This video is the part 1 of this tutorial where I'll show you how to make a simple bar plot with customizable x-axis labels. And part 2 of this tutorial deals with making a slightly more complicated bar plot where you can customize each different bar of the bar plot to have a different color or different design or label and so on. For now, let's just talk about the part 1. And before we get started with making the bar plot, let's take a look at the data file that we have. So in this data file, on the left is the serial number corresponding to different fruits. So we have 5 different fruits. And on the right column, we have the number of people who like each type of fruit, okay, like in a given classroom setting or something like that. The reason I don't have apple, apricot, berries, melon, and banana written on the left-hand side is because Xmgrace has a problem accepting strings as one of its plotting axes against which it would plot the other one. So we have to specify the serial numbers. But since it doesn't make sense for a bar plot to have just bars against a serial number, we need to have some actual text or some sort of an indication as to what we are plotting against. We're going to see how we can customize the x-axis labels to the fruit names. You may also have noticed that I have some text written here, but Xmgrace does not take that into consideration because I have the hashtag here and it's basically just commented out. So let's get started with the bar plot. Xmgrace -nxy data.text. And this gives you the plot. This is a simple line plot. For starters, we don't want that, so we will change it to a bar plot. And a quick look at the axis label limits tells you that the x-axis starts from 1 to 5, and it's not ideal given that our data points also have 1 and 5. So we need to change it from 0 to 6 or something like that. And the y-axis labels start from 4 to 20. And if you recollect in our data, the number of people who liked apple is 4. So if I have to plot a bar plot with these labels, it looks like the first impression would be like, oh my God, no one likes apples, like this, like it's 0. But it's not starting at 0, right? So this kind of gives you a wrong impression of the plot, of the data you're trying to communicate. So it's really important that we change the axis labels. So let's go to plot, axis properties. X-axis we can change from 0 to 6 and click apply. Y-axis we can change from 0 to 16 and have a major spacing of 2. That will look good. Now click accept. Now let's go to plot, set appearance, because that's where we set the appearance of our plot. And we go to line properties, type straight. We don't want that. Click none, apply. Don't worry, we're gonna get the plot back. Go to set presentation, type XY. We don't want that, so click bar, apply. We have a bar plot, but the width of the bars is too small, so we can increase the width of the bar. In order to do that, go to symbol properties and change the size. Keep clicking here until it goes to 300. It increases in increments of 25, so it goes to 300 and select. If you want, you can also increase it to 400 or 500, but that may be just too big. That's just what I prefer, so yes, 300 it is. And one thing to note is when you have no symbol selected and you have a bar plot, so this bar is basically the symbol here, which is why the size and symbol properties applies to your bar. Okay, now click accept. There you go, you have a bar, you're presenting your data. We know what it is, but then the lack of axis labels clearly gives us no information about it. Like when we're making the plot, we know, but when someone looks at it, they wouldn't know. So it's important that we first change the x-axis labels. Okay, plus since we are plotting against the different fruit names, the minor ticks particularly do not make any sense. So let's go to plot, axis properties, click x-axis, select x-axis. Now go to special. If you want to have custom x-axis labels, this is the place you go to, the special tab. Special ticks, it says none. Click tick marks and labels, okay? And that tells to take into account the tick marks and labels that we have. So, and not just the custom, and not just the default tick labels. So here, if you look at it, it says tick location and label. So if the location is 0, which is here, the label is 0. The location is 0.5, which is here, you don't have a label. See, it's blank. So that corresponds to the minor tick. You have one minor tick between two major ticks, and your major ticks are spaced in units of 1. So the minor tick corresponds to 0.5, 1.5, 2.5, and so on, like here, here, here. And all the minor ticks are not labeled as shown by the empty labels here, see? Only the major ticks are labeled. If you take a look at it, number of user ticks to use, it says 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So these are the 13 ticks it's considering, okay? What we want here is we don't want minor ticks, right? So we're gonna eliminate the minor ticks. And the other, we want the major ticks, but we don't want them to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want them to say apple, apricot, berries, melon, and banana. So we don't, we at tick location 0, we don't want to label, okay? So we might as well not talk about it. So let's just, we're focused on tick locations 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't really care about what happens anywhere else. We honestly don't even want the tick marks in other positions for this bar plot. So just have the 5 places. And 0 to 4, you have like 5 user ticks that we want to use. So update it to 5 there. And now back to tick location. At 1, we want it to be apple, 2, apricot, 3, berries, 4, melon, and 5, banana. Now click apply. There you go. So we have the different labels done, but do we actually need these spaces here? I don't think it's necessary. So maybe we can start the x-axis at 0.5 and end it 5.5. Yeah, this spacing is slightly different from the spacing here. So if you think that would be a big deal, you can always change it to 0 to 5, 0 to 6. If you do it from 0 to 5, this will basically be cut off, so we don't want that. Maybe we can keep it at 0 to 6, or if you want 0.5 to 5.5, that's totally up to you. Okay, now that we have the bar plot, let's try to make it more beautiful. Like, let's try to present it in a better way. For that, let's just do the usual things that we do to the axis labels, the fonts, font sizes, and so on. For a detailed explanation, I recommend you to go to tutorial 2. But here I'm just going to go over them super quickly. So let's go to x-axis, main. I don't think it's necessary to write fruit names because you don't really need to have an x-axis label all the time. But if you want, just type that in. Helvetica bold, apply. Label, we also want Helvetica bold, 150. We want size 3. Tick labels, sorry, 150 again. Tick marks, just change that to 3. Perfect. Now go to y-axis. Change that to 3. Tick labels, 150. Helvetica bold, 150. And 3. And you can just probably write number of students who liked it. Click OK, and that should be fine. Okay, this looks pretty good. Okay, here we are. Access properties, just one more thing. If you want to give it a shot, just you could do one more time, just repeating it, 5 to 5.5, and that looks like this. And that's totally your call. And I just keep it this way because we're not really doing a count, right? And if the spacing is not that big a deal for you, you can always change it. So one thing that's very striking here is the entire plot looks cool except for the bars, right? I mean, they just seem so faded out when they are the actual data in that you're trying to represent or that you're trying to communicate. So it's important to do something to these bars. So let's go to plot, set appearance. We've already selected bar. So let's go to symbols. Okay, in our case, although we have symbol none, since we're having a bar plot, the bar itself is our symbol. Symbol outline is a straight line. Yes, we have that, but the width is 1. We don't want that. Change it to 3, apply. This looks much better, right? If you want, you can also fill in the bars with a color. So symbol fill, let's try blue. And if you check this pattern, you get this. You can try different patterns like this or this. There's so many patterns that you can try here. I don't know why someone would want these patterns, but in any case, let's just go back to this, okay? So this is how we color our bar plots, and click accept. Now let's try to get rid of the empty spaces. Go to edit, arrange graphs. Just get rid of the empty spaces, and here you go. This is a very good bar plot, and don't forget to save it. So click save as. Maybe just save it as barplot.agr. Okay, now we don't just want the AGR, we probably also want a vector graphics file, like a PDF file. Just select custom, go to inches. I want a 3.3 inch wide figure. This is how I get it. And don't forget to print. Okay. See, here you have the AGR file and the .pdf file. I'm sorry about it. Barplot.pdf. Let's open it. And there you go. This is the file. This is your bar plot. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please feel free to post any questions that you have about this tutorial or in general about plotting in Xmgrace in the comments. And in the next, in the part 2 of the same tutorial, we're going to see how we can have different colors for the different bars, or how we can customize each bar as a separate entity. It's slightly complicated, but we can do it with much precise control in Xmgrace than we can do it in other software. So we will discuss that in more detail in part 2. I hope you enjoy this tutorial.